Imagine you had a bad case of amnesia. You can't remember anything. You can't even remember who you are or who your spouse is. But every day you wake up, you have to rely on your spouse to tell you who you are and who they are. But here's the thing. Every day you get weird small clues that something is off here. You don't know if you could trust them. But other people who you can't even remember come into your life and drop clues off that something is wrong. What would you do? Do you leave? Do you stay? You have amnesia. You don't even know who you are. And so that's a crazy situation, right? Well, that's this movie I'm about to watch called Before I Go to Sleep, starring Nicole Kidman. Good news, it's on Netflix for anybody who wants to see it. This movie came highly recommended, and I watched the trailer and I'm like, wow, this actually looks good. It's original. Like, that concept alone makes for good storytelling. So I'm gonna watch this movie. It came out in 2014, and I'm gonna give you some perspective on it because that's what I do. I'm looking for movies that matter so we can start some kind of discourse. Before I get into this movie though, you know I gotta do snack of the night. None of this works without the snack of the night. So let's get into that, then it's movie time. So we're at Ralph's today, and you know what? You cannot go wrong. Actually, barbecue versus kettle corn is smooth, but barbecues. When you're watching something real interesting, I don't know, you don't have to get one of these. I'm going with the classic. Well, to say the least, that movie had me hooked from beginning to end, I'm not gonna lie. Some might find it a bit of a slow burn, but if you're into psychological thrillers, maybe like a Steven Soderbergh kind of movie, I'm gonna tell you why this movie, Before I Go to Sleep, starring Nicole Kidman, is very important for the culture today. Number one, this is proof that you don't need a huge cast, a huge crew, a whole bunch of unnecessary bubblegum, popcorn nonsense to make a really dope, psychological, thrilling, engaging film today. Now, granted, this movie came out back in 2014, but you can't really tell the difference. It's just as modern as it is throwback. And here's what I mean. Back in the day, I feel like movie stars could really make a name for themselves doing simple movies. Even Training Day, to me, is a simple movie. Simple actors, simple plot, but the acting is so good and it's so well written that it keeps you thinking like, damn, what's about to happen? Now, in order to pull off a movie like this where she's sitting around with amnesia, not knowing what's about to happen, just trusting her husband, even though she could feel in her spirit that something is off, you need to cast a really, really, really talented actor, which they did, obviously. Nicole Kidman, I mean, I think we should make it cool to talk about these simple movies because, these blockbuster movies, which I love a good popcorn blockbuster film, but at the end of the day, these huge budget movies take up all the shine at the theaters. So there's not a lot of room for a movie this simple to exist. That's why this movie is really important to the culture. We need more movies that are psychological thrillers or just even a regular thriller that puts a lot of pressure on the writers and the actors. Because that's the bare bones of it at the end of the day, right? The writers and the actors. Something unique about this movie that I feel like you weren't expecting was that you're looking at a husband like he's the villain. And on paper, you could say the husband was the villain. Manipulating your wife into thinking that everything is all cool and that it's all fine and dandy when you know that she doesn't know who you are, because if she knew, she would go running for the hills. That's creepy enough. But I feel like it's a little bit deeper. They made trust within itself the villain of this movie. Everybody around, whether it was her friend Claire, the doctor, her so-called husband, anyone who comes into her life, the first thing that you're thinking is, can you trust this person? And the ability to trust somebody in this movie never really comes. It's not till the end of the movie you finally could take a deep breath and go, oh, all right, well, we finally know who the bad guy is. So shout out to the writers. They definitely caught lightning in the bottle on that one. Here's another reason why this movie, Before I Go to Sleep, is super important to cinema culture today. It rewards your attention. Now, here's the thing, in a lot of content movies, remember I told you a lot of movies just come out as content, it comes and goes, you forget about it. What a lot of movies I feel like are missing is that message and that payoff at the end. A lot of movies will get you so in tuned with the story and so immersed with everything, how beautiful it's shot and the location and the star power, that they forget that at the end of this movie, there has to be some kind of payoff. You don't want to be on this movie, on this ride. You don't want to be on this adventure the whole time just wondering, okay, is it gonna go here? Is it gonna go there? And then at the end, it was like, oh, okay, cool. That's just, it wasn't really that exciting, but I'm glad I watched it. No, 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 no. You gotta make people feel something at the end of the movie. So at the end of this movie, before I go to sleep, and I don't want to spoil it, I definitely felt something at the end of this movie. I really felt relieved, but I also felt kind of on the edge of my seat a little bit the way they did it. They did a really good job of saying enough without telling you too much. They said enough without saying too much. And I would go deeper into it, but I don't want to ruin it for everybody. But what I do want to do is start a conversation to all the movie lovers out there, all the movie heads. What do you think about this? Now, this movie's on Netflix right now for free. I don't know how long it's going to be on there, but you might want to run on Netflix, run it up, tell me what you think. I think it's super important for the culture. Now, the question is, should you watch this by yourself, with your significant other, or with the family, or with some friends? Well, I gotta say, I would really recommend watching this movie either with your significant other, by yourself, or maybe with just a very few friends who know how to be quiet during the movie. Not too many friends though, because this is definitely not the movie for distractions. Not that any movie deserves distractions, but definitely not this one. So check out this movie before I go to sleep. Let me know what you think. It's a hell of a psychological thriller. We need more of those. And we'll be back for another one.